Cause all you motherfuckers trying to kiss his ass now, bro. Talking to D-Long's weak ass.
Hello everybody, D-Long here and welcome back to a brand new video. And it's been a minute, and for my first video back, it sucks I have to make one like this. This is something I never thought I'd have to make, nor did I want to make. But after sitting with it for a while, I feel like once I talk about it, we can move on and never address this again. If you're wondering why I'm using a Fortnite background video, it's because I'm a gamer. This is a gaming channel, so might as well keep the theme. Today's video is I want to talk about how I was screwed over by someone who I consider not only a friend, but like a brother. Before I talk about this any further, let me preference a few things. One, I'm going to name this individual CEO because he is the CEO of Team Rise Above. And I'm not going to shed light on his name. You know who you are, and the community knows who you are, because whether you want to admit it or not, you have burned a lot of bridges.
Huge fucking escapade of bullshit. And the cherry on top was him just fucking literally scamming you, bro. Everything we thought, everything we knew when we first joined, it was true. I really wanted it to work. I did. And for it not to work, it breaks my heart because I put time in there. For him to turn around and have this fucking ego or whatever the fuck it is, whatever you want to call it, bro. I don't even know if it's an ego. Now it just crushes every foundation, every fucking floor that he's ever built. It has now been collapsed. So yeah, we appreciate showing his real face and showing the real him. You didn't have to wait so long to do it. You could have done it in the beginning, but you didn't. And now we're here, gang. It fucking sucks, bro, because I never wanted this to happen. Nobody wanted this shit to happen. And D-Long's a good friend of mine, so that's the crazy part is, how are you gonna fuck over D-Long when he's done literally nothing? I wonder what else he said behind my back.
An interaction I had actually before I had left the team. This interaction, made me kind of really leave the team. So, I was live, I was streaming, I was doing my thing. He comes in, and this is right after people are starting to leave the team and stuff, and he comes to in my chat and he's telling me I need to play more games, I need to get on Call of Duty, Fortnite. I'm not that type of streamer. That isn't me. And I tell him that, and he tells me that I need to wake up. I'm too faded. I'm too high. I need to rise above. I would respond with, well, I don't even like that's not that's not what I'm about. Want to be playing games all day. Like, if I am playing a game, it's going to be some old retro game. And again, just being told to rise above just kind of made me realize that the intentions were not there for me. Where I pop off and where I do great and where I do best, my channel and for me is in the just chatting category. It didn't seem like he cared or saw that at all. The disrespect that was kind of shown was very loud and it was very prominent. And it just showed me what the future was looking like for me if I were to have stayed.
You have to think, after all these people keep leaving your side that were once your friend, have you not at all stopped to think that maybe you're the problem instead of thinking that everyone around you is just a hater and fake and just doesn't want to see you win? I don't know. I'm not you, but if I was losing friend after friend, I'd take a really long look in the mirror, because at this point, I can't even count on both hands how many friends I've seen you lose. Another thing I want to preference is I greatly appreciate those who have had my back and are sticking up for me, but those who are going out of their way to send some very out-of-pocket messages to this individual, please stop. It's not helping the situation. But those who have also been wronged by him, you're free to do whatever. But me personally, I want to handle it as professionally as I can. Number 3, like with a lot of the members that leave Team Rise Above, they're still very cool with most, if not all of the members, as am I. I'm still very much in support of the members. I still rock with them, even if they don't rock with me. I know you all know this, but if you don't send any hate to the members of Team Rise Above. They have absolutely nothing to do with this. Okay, let's begin. I was first invited to Team Rise Above on January 11th of this year. I declined because at the time I was with Ultimate Potential, which, looking back, was the worst mistake leaving Ultimate Potential for this endeavor. But on the plus, I met some really amazing people through it, so I'd call it a win-loss. When I declined to join the first time, he said, if your teammate's showing you love, keep it rolling. Everyone has been a part of unsupportive teams, and they'll hold you back. I thought this was really odd. Up is one of the most supportive teams that I know of. But what I should have done is stuck up for my team and say, hey, they're not unsupportive and that they're a great team, and that's my bad. But I had just met this dude. I was new to kicking the streaming journey and really didn't want to upset anyone or burn any bridges off the bat. The more I started talking with him, locking in with him, and seeing what Team Rise Above was about and seeing what the community was about, I started to realize that streaming and gaming lined up more with them than it did with Up at the time. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Again, I love Up and I always will, and I'm still great friends with most, if not all, of the members. I still wanted to stay with Up because I could never see myself leaving. I had been with them at this point for about 3 years, and I have been locked in for a very, very long time. But as of January 28th, I requested to the CEO of Ultimate Potential, Jverse, who was like my fucking brother. Love that dude to death. I let him know that I wanted a double roster. Keep in mind, this was not a organized team. This was a streaming friend group. The CEO let me know that from the beginning. And Jverse, the CEO of Ultimate Potential, was more than supportive and more than understanding and just wanted the best for me. And he allowed me to do so, no questions asked, as long as I can manage both. So from that point on, I was in Team Rise Above as a content creator. First month or so, it was amazing. From community nights to Discord calls, the friendships were genuine. It was a streaming friend group. Others can agree, it was way better this way. We were helping each other grow. We were supporting each other's content. I was extremely happy and motivated at the time. So when did that all fall apart and where did it all go wrong? Start when one day Team Rise Above became a organization. The CEO of Team Rise Above, I don't know how, but he was connected with a celebrity publicist. I'm not going to name his name, but he is a very big public figure, and I have nothing but positive things to say about him. I know he was in charge of the payment side of things, and looking back on it, instead of going to the CEO, I should have gone to him directly for any payment questions that I had, because I feel like I would have gotten a much clearer answer. Because for the most part, he kept it real with me, and our conversations were very, very respectful. But I think the CEO didn't really know what he was doing with this publicist. I hadn't heard of him at this time, and neither did a lot of members. But we thought it was cool that a celebrity publicist was getting involved. And in the beginning, it sounded like it was just someone who was going to help us grow. I didn't think anything of it, and I don't think the others did either. Then, once the publicist joined in and he got acquainted with everything, that's when sponsors were introduced. I use sponsors lightly because I don't and will continue to think that a lot of those sponsors, if not all, I don't believe they were real. And if they were, I believe it was only benefiting one person, not the whole team like it was discussed. And the word organization was being thrown around. I started to notice a change in this guy. Other members, any small little mistake that a member would make, he was way less understanding as far as chances go. And I'll use one example. I won't use his name. He's already shared his side. This individual who was an editor for Team Rise Above, which at the time I didn't even know there was editors, seen him rep the team in various tweets, videos, his bios, but he didn't have the team logo on his stream. And for that, the CEO was very upset and they argued. I can't remember the timeline. Member by member was quickly being released for very minimal things that you wouldn't usually see someone get released from a team for. And these were all his friends at one point. This whole thing started as a friend group, as I keep preferencing, because it was for friends. But after that, I became the team editor on April 4th. And while asking me to be the team editor, he berated the guy that he had just released for the logo situation by saying he did a half-assed job and he was just moving mad weird the whole time and had shit quality. But from what I knew and from what I've seen from this individual, he knew how to edit. And his stream quality was great. His video qualities were great. The edits were great and better than anything I did. I really just blatantly didn't believe anything the CEO was saying about that instance, but I just shake my head and agree and keep going. Once the editing started, I thought it was cool. It was a lot of work and it was long hours. They wanted short form, long form, and the CEO would send 10+ hour VODs. But to me, I was helping a friend and believed the vision that he had. After we were established as an organization and the sponsors were rolling in, the first thing that caught my attention is that usually, at least in my experience, when a sponsor is connected to you, they reach out to you wanting to work with you, they give you a discount code, and that's that. Simple. These sponsors were way more confusing with a certain amount of clicks on a sponsored link that would get the team paid, but then it didn't work if you were using a VPN. Didn't get that at all until I got a DM from the CEO who was talking about a current member, calling him a dumbass for using a VPN, saying it's costing us money. And the person that he was talking bad about behind their back is still currently in the team today. I'm not going to say the name. Was completely an accident from my understanding. I mean, I'm sure no one knew you couldn't use a VPN for team clicks, and I don't even understand how it works. We called him a dumbass, said he's wasting our money, or costing us money, excuse me. And so from there on, I just followed the directions, but I didn't really push it that hard. and promote it that hard because I simply just didn't get it. At this point, there's about a new sponsor coming in every day, and I don't know where these are coming from. And even at one point, he leaked to me in a Discord DM, which he shouldn't have. It was leaked to me that I was allegedly getting an exclusive deal with a shoe company that has tons of commercials. They're in every single store. Played it like I was excited, but did I think it was real? No, not at all. After that, I started to very loosely push the sponsors on my own personal videos because I was really starting to think it wasn't real. Then a member left the team because he got a ton of clicks on a sponsored link like we were told to do. His community showed out for him, got tons and tons of clicks, only to be told by the CEO that he wouldn't receive any of the money because the clicks there wasn't a way for the clicks to be tracked to see what was legitimate, is what my understanding was. CEO or this individual can clear that up. I really don't know how it works, but bottom line is he reached out to his community and said, hey, if you fuck with me, click my sponsored link and help me out. And he got a lot of clicks. And when he found out he wasn't receiving any of the money for the work or what his community did for him, he was upset. And after that, he was out. That's when I really started seeing red flags. But against my better judgment, I kept it rolling. And from April 4th, all the way up until the last video that I added to the drive on May 10th, it was around 16 to 19 long form and short form videos. The videos on the CEO's Instagram went crazy. The videos on the YouTube channel did pretty decent. I was added as a collaborator and I was given credit on all the posts because I edited them. And then the CEO doesn't know how to edit. And he still doesn't know how to edit. People were sending me tweets of him saying that he's looking for a new editor and serious inquiries only, or he was asking people in his chat to teach him how to edit, which is fine, but he didn't know. So that's where I stepped in, and that's where I was trying to be a good friend and help him out. But it was cool for him seeing all the views grow. I mean, the CEO was getting thousands and thousands of views, and he just kept saying, we're blowing up, we're blowing up. And it started to dawn on me, okay, like this is awesome seeing that my edits are doing these type of numbers, but I wasn't really getting anything out of it. I mean, I was getting some comments, saying, oh, sick edits, pats on the back and, a few new followers here and there. But the CEO was really the only one benefiting off of these videos, which is fine. Again, I was trying to be a nice friend. I never cared about the money until the end, and I will explain why. Fast forward a little bit, I took a break because I am moving out, and I was getting ready to start a new job, and I was just trying to get my life back on track, even though throughout this whole time, I've been in kind of a dark place around this time, and this dude's just telling me, don't worry. We're going to be rich as fuck. We're going to make so much money. We're on the verge of fame that I'll be bigger than the Respawn Recruits, which is odd that he said that because I loved the Respawn Recruits challenge. And I told him I was going to do it again. And he said, don't. It's a waste of time. What you're going to do here is going to be bigger than the Respawn Recruits. So it's just the ego that was constantly inflating before we had received anything. At one point, I even told him I was having problems with my family. And he said, well, just tell your family you're working with celebrities. And then once all this money comes in, they'll shut up. And then we're going to move out and get a house in Vegas, which even if that all happened and paid out, there was no way I was moving into a house in Vegas because I have my girlfriend down here. I have my family down here. I wasn't just going to up and leave. Like he seemed to think I was going to just up and move because this was all going to pay off, which I knew it wasn't. But it's just all these empty promises that I was told. For the move, before I found a new job, I was in the worst place probably in my life, or at least in a very, very long time. February, I lost my job, which started the domino effect. I lost my medical insurance and my car started breaking down that I couldn't fix because I couldn't have a job. And this went on for a few months. And here's where I'm going to be so transparent with you guys. It was like rock bottom and the rocks were on top of me and I had nowhere to go. Who did I confide to? Someone I thought was my brother, the CEO of Team Rise Above. He said, God did it for us, you're going to be fine. In the midst of all this, he then got upset, saying, stop letting the depression whoop you. I got us a deal with a gaming league by being our spokesperson. Please stop with this attitude and energy. It wasn't much appreciated. Control your emotions. I don't need threats like this. That was the response. We're about to be famous and make money. Like, I didn't care about any of that, especially because the money that at the time would have really helped the position I was in. We weren't seeing it. Not that it mattered, but so from that point forward, it was very clear to me that this guy really had one goal, and it's to blow up and make money. He doesn't give a fuck about anything else. He tried somewhat to make me feel better by saying, you know, God's on our side and, you know, keep going. You're a great editor. I'm not saying he didn't, you know, try to uplift me or try to motivate me. Just the things he was trying to say to me to get me to feel better. Don't promise me when I'm at my lowest point and can barely afford anything that, oh, look at all this money that's coming in. Where was it coming in at? So at that point during the conversation, I just asked him, I said, when is any payment coming in? He said, we haven't completed a contract yet with a sponsor and you're pressing me like that. Me asking when we're getting paid is pressing you? It was a question. He then even dropped some personal struggles that he was going through that I could easily go and air out. But I'm not going to do that. But on his stream and his Twitter, he was very quick to air out that I'm just, you know, the depressed, weak kid that couldn't hang. So you're going to air that out and expect me not to air out your personal struggles? You're right. I'm not going to do that. I could very easily just leak all of it. But I'm not that person, and you know that. After that, I still, for some reason, wanted to keep helping him. Maybe it's just the person I am, I don't know, but I kept working for him, but I had more of a guard up. And the one thing that this guy is going to learn very quickly, you are going to step on whoever to get to the top. But then the same way you got up, you're going to come right back down and you're going to see everybody you stepped over to get to the top. And they're not going to forget what you did. But anyways, kept working with him. I was just careful. I just put more time into editing and didn't really go to many community nights. Didn't really interact much with the team besides post, because friends post I'm obviously going to support. But I just tried to take a little bit of a step back because that conversation alone just really opened my eyes. But I was still convinced this is just someone who's really passionate about something, and so I'm going to do what it takes to keep helping him achieve this. Around May 19th, I'm stating that I'm taking a break because that was the first day of a job that I finally landed, and that I announced I was moving on June 6th, and I wanted to focus on my IRL life for a bit. I was still gaming. Started gaming with some IRL homies. The first time in a very long time. Content without even trying, it was just flowing. It didn't feel forced. And that's when it hit me. This whole time, my heart was in Team Rise Above and in the editing, but my energy just wasn't there. It was starting to feel like I was forcing myself to edit, and I didn't want to. And I was starting to feel forced, not by anybody individual, but me personally. It was feeling forced. And once those thoughts entered my mind, I realized that wasn't fair to Team Rise Above. So on Sunday, the 25th, the CEO hits me up to say that better content's coming because he got an Elgato, and he thanked me. I think it was because I suggested it to him a long time ago because I've used Elgato forever. I told him I was making content with IRL homies and I was taking a little bit of a step back from editing, and the mood instantly changed. It was over text, but you can still feel it. I explained that I was starting to feel like I was forcing myself to edit, and that I didn't want to feel that way. It was just starting to feel like a job when I started this whole journey because I genuinely loved it, and I didn't want it to feel like a job. He then said that I'm making more money as an editor, but if I don't want to be the editor, to let him know. So I told him I didn't want to. He said he'll look for a new editor, but he explained to me that I won't be paid as much. And I understood that. I mean, that's fair. You know, I'm not upset about it. I'm trying to be, you know, as transparent as possible. He said I don't have to leave, but it sounded like I wanted to, which wasn't true. If I could have stayed in Team Rise Above and just be a content creator like the rest, it would have been fine. I would have been happy with that. I just didn't want to be the guy to go to anymore. He called my excuse for not wanting to edit lame, and that he clarified to, I don't know if just to himself or if he was trying to convince himself that he wasn't in the wrong, that he himself was not forcing me to do anything. I don't think he was actually reading my text, but I clearly stated multiple times that he himself didn't say, hey, D-Long, you know, edit this video now. Like, nobody forced me. D-Long, personally felt like it was becoming a job. No individual, not one person, not one entity saying you have to edit. He said, I lack motivation and deal with negativity, which is true. I deal with negativity as we all do because we're human. For all that I was going through, I put that aside to help you, even during some of the worst times of my life. And then after that, he started saying that he was tired of being blamed for people slacking off. And again, I don't know if he's just arguing with ghosts here, but never did I blame him. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to read a text, but it was like he was arguing with two different people, like seeing two different conversations. He said it's awesome that I'm just giving up on him. He said that one of the sponsors pulled out and that the payment, instead of the 21st of this month, like we were supposed to be paid, was now pushed to the 2nd of June. Not that it matters anymore because I'm not receiving any of it, and you'll know why in a second. But he made it official that I resigned as an editor, but that I will still be paid. Keep in mind, I resigned as an editor, but I will still be paid. But he was sure to mention in there that he didn't like how disrespectful I was being towards him and didn't like my attitude. He ended the conversation by then saying I'm not on the team anymore and that I can kick rocks. And I swear to God, he said, you can go kick rocks. So now, knowing that I'm released from Team Rise Above, not being on the team anymore means I don't get paid at all, even for the videos that I did make for him, because the word contract that he used was terminated. Because there was never a real contract. I never signed anything. Now, here's where I'm confused by the whole situation. I made all these videos, right? The sponsors, some of them had to have hit their calendar mark. So I don't know if that's just a blatant lie or if some really did pull out. I don't know. But he said if I left Team Rise Above, I wouldn't get my payment. But according to him, I was released. So as much as it doesn't matter, there is some money that I'm owed. But I'm not going to pursue it, because I'm going to cut my losses, because at this point it already feels like a weight is lifted off my shoulders. But he really showed his true colors through this entire experience, and I really thought from day one it's someone I can trust, and I knew I should have just trusted the person that introduced me to the CEO, because they had a falling out a long time ago, and he said just be careful, he will backstab you, and then he did. But there's tons of stories about negative interactions with him, but this one was mine. Sorry my comeback was this, but we're back now. And to the CEO, I don't hate you, but be better. I wish you the best. I truly do. I don't think you're a bad person, but I think you're another classic case of clout and money that destroys friendships. Only this time you hadn't received the money, but you are starting to receive the clout, and I witnessed it firsthand. Do with that what you will. Maybe one day, the more and more people that keep leaving, maybe you'll start to realize, shit, I am doing something wrong. I don't see that happening, and we move on from this. All right, y'all. Take care, everybody. Daily videos are going to return soon, and daily streaming is actually going to be coming soon. So stay tuned for that. I love y'all to death, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
You agreed to edit, but you didn't finish your agreement.